Hello class, this is Mrs. Politsky, and I have got notes for Chapter 30, Section 1. We're going to be talking about South Asia after the fall of the British Empire. So as we go along, make sure you find the correct section in your guided notes and copy down the information that you need. Here we go. In number 1, independence in India occurred as a result of Mohandas Gandhi's Quit India campaign, which was a nonviolent protest. Gandhi and thousands of Indians in the Indian National Congress were imprisoned, resulting in riots. And as we're watching the film Gandhi, there are many different examples of the different nonviolent means of protest that members of the Indian National Congress used in those days leading up to the British withdrawal from India. In 1940, Muslims called for partition of India, which would create a Hindu India and a Muslim India. Great Britain believed that partition would ensure stability. In 1947, the British ended their rule of India and formed two separate nations. We had Hindu India, which is basically what we would pretty much call present day India, and East and West Pakistan. Okay, West Pakistan is basically today the nation of Pakistan. East Pakistan is now presently known as Bangladesh. Number 3, the Muslim League was led by a man named Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and in the film Gandhi you will see Jinnah portrayed, and some of the debates that not only Gandhi had with Jinnah, but this next man who we're going to talk about, the first Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru. Some of the debates that Jinnah and Nehru had, occasionally they did not see eye to eye. One of the first things that Nehru had to confront when he became Prime Minister of India was this border dispute between Pakistan and India and a region that is called Kashmir. Kashmir is on this map over here is kind of this northern territory, if you want to call it. It's kind of in northeastern Pakistan, a little bit of northern, maybe a little bit of northwestern India, if you want to call it that. This region continues to be an area of great tension between Pakistan and India even today, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that as we go forward here. But there was some great concern about Kashmir even in the last decade when we talk about the war of terror that we've been waging in parts of the Middle East. In January of 1948, Mohandas Gandhi was assassinated by a Hindu who thought that Gandhi, for the most part, had sacrificed Hindu interests to the Muslims. Under Prime Minister Nehru, he was able to increase the legal rights of women, improve the life of the poor, prevent discrimination based on the caste. Matter of fact, during the time of Nehru and his rule, the caste was officially eliminated, though I'd have to say culturally there's still remnants of the caste that's present in everyday Indian life. He also emphasized the need for unity and economic development. In 1966, Indira Gandhi, who you see pictured down here, became Prime Minister, serving for 4 terms. The thing that's unique is you see the name Gandhi, you assume that maybe she is a relative of Mohandas Gandhi, but she's actually the daughter of Nehru. Okay, in 1984, in the Indian state of Punjab, a small group of militant Sikhs occupied what is known as the Golden Temple. And under Indira Gandhi's orders, they were driven out. This Golden Temple is sometimes known as Amritsar. It's a very sacred shrine to the Sikhs. Okay, under Indira Gandhi's orders, they were driven out, and as a result, hundreds were killed at the temple, and sacred items were destroyed. So later in that year, Indira Gandhi was assassinated by her Sikh bodyguards, and it touched off a wave of anti-Sikh violence in India. So Even in modern day India, violence is not necessarily something that is remote. It is still a problem. Number 9, India continues to be faced by problems of millions of Indians living in poverty in crowded cities such as Mumbai or Kolkata, aka Calcutta. In the 1990s, India was able to loosen controls of many of its industries and reduce its trade barriers. This has led to significant economic gains. Okay, but it's also led to some other issues that we kind of need to address, such as pollution. Number 11, South Asia continues to face challenges of nuclear weapons, religious and ethnic tensions, extreme poverty, and political upheaval. I want to talk a little bit about this nuclear issue. A few moments ago, and I'm going to flip back a little bit to this map, talking about the tensions between Pakistan and India in the area of Kashmir. You know, during the 1990s, around 1991, there was, you know, kind of a Cold War issue that was happening in Pakistan and India. Both nations by this time had already been able to obtain the technology to make nuclear weapons, and they were threatening to test these devices kind of in their neighborhoods. And in a sense, this is, you know, kind of led to a lot of tensions between these two nation states. There is great fear that at some point in time, that if tensions don't de-escalate, that we could possibly have, you know, a potential for a future nuclear conflict here. So that's a huge concern for the United States, and not only us, but for a lot of other nations of the world. Number 12, two groups that have fought in Sri Lanka since 1989 have been the Sinhalese and a group known as the Tamils. In May of 2009, their fighting ended when the Tamil Tigers were defeated by the Sri Lankan army. In 1971, East Pakistan decided to seek its independence from West Pakistan. The Pakistani government responded with force, and thousands died in the civil war. India sent troops to support East Pakistan, and eventually East Pakistan became known as the country of Bangladesh. All right, thank you very much.